Hello to all of our BPTV fans, to our YouTube fans, to our new fans with our guests, and others who may just watch our By Request show. Thank you all for watching another By Request. My co-host is Jessica Lee, a great jazz singer, and we produce and co-host this show. We did it all during COVID. We got great feedback. We just came back from our hiatus, so this is the second show back. And I got to ask Jess, what do we have going on today?
Hey Al, so yeah, we've started this show up having people request all kinds of songs that have lyrics that are meaningful to them. And as we came off of our summer break and we're into the fall now, we have a special nonprofit that I want to feature along with a couple of requested songs that kind of match up with their theme. So the nonprofit that we're going to feature is Variety Pittsburgh. And we're going to hear from some very special people from Variety about their mission, types of people, children, and that they're helping with so many kind of innovative technologies and different things. But before we hear from them, Al, there are two things we have to talk about. The first is, what are you drinking?
Uh, I just happened to try a new flavor of loose leaf green tea. It has blueberry in it, and this is Sip by Sip to Your Health. And Jess, I hope you're doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well, so to your health, sip away.
Delicious,
I'm
delicious
glad.
flavor with a hint of blueberry.
Okay, and that's we always like to talk about what Al's drinking because we always say, be healthy out there. And Al, I know you're being healthy out there with that green tea.
Yes.
And the second thing is one of the first songs that was requested is a song that will lead us into talking with our featured guests from Variety Pittsburgh. And the song that requested is something that was written a long, long time ago, but is still very loved today. It's a song called Smile, Al. What do you know about
I
Smile?
do know a little bit about it because I've been a Charlie Chaplin fan most of my life. So I've read a book or two about him, and I won't get in all those details. That 1936 is a special year. Charlie Chaplin wrote Smile. So he is the writer of it. And in 1954, John Turner and Jeffrey Parsons added lyrics, and that was 1954. And it's been a successful song ever since. And the lyrics are just amazing. And I can't wait to hear your version.
So, really quickly, quick story before we go to the song. One of the most favorite songs of little Michael Jackson when he was a kid, his favorite song was Smile. And so I want to throw this song out there to everybody who needs to smile today. Once, even if you don't feel like smiling today, you're having a little bit of a down day. And for all the children out there who need somebody to brighten their day, this particular song is for them. So, what do you think we hear it, and then we'll talk with some of our guests, Sal.
As you know, I like to smile. So I will start that smile right into your theme. Let's listen to it now, Jess.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you see the sun come shining through. For you light up your face sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You see that life, it's still worthwhile if you just smile, just smile. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you smile through your pain and sorrow. Smile, and maybe tomorrow you see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You see that life, it's still worthwhile if you just smile. Just smile at me as I smile. Smile, smile. Keep on smiling now. Thank you, thank you.
Jess, this is just a great memory from a year ago. We were at the Carnegie Museum in Carnegie, up on the hill there, on a beautiful day like today. It was a great, clear, semi-cloudy sky with a beautiful sunset, a little chillier than today. But your song, you're just amazing. And the playing by Mark Strickland was just so cool. And we had a great crowd that was outside of the museum.
So yeah, so Al, this was a by request concert, right? We did during COVID.
Yes.
We were able to get outdoors. And you know, when people are calling in the requests, we're pulling them from different places. And as you know, sometimes I'm going to just play and sing on my piano when we don't have something that I can pull from the recent past. But Smile, the theme of the song, you know, is really you can see why people have been requesting it during the pandemic. Smile,
Yes.
though your heart is aching. And our guests, if we can bring our guests in now, Al, from the nonprofit Variety Pittsburgh, the charity, they're doing all kinds of unbelievable things to put smiles on children's faces. So I also wanted to really highlight the good work they're doing with you today. So what do you think if we bring them in? So let's say hi to Zach Marsh and let's say hi to Joe Sipley.
Hello,
Hello, folks. How are you? Thanks for having us.
doing
Yeah,
great.
thank
Welcome
you.
aboard. And Jess, take the lead right now.
Yeah, well, I got you, Al. So just lean back and enjoy because these guys are going to give us a good time here. They're going to hear about the mission of Variety Pittsburgh. I first, Al, learned about Variety Pittsburgh from Joe.
Okay.
Joe, if you want to just talk a little bit first about your involvement with this wonderful charity and how you got Zach to join us today on this particular television show. Go ahead.
Sure, Jess. Thank you very much, and thanks for having us, Al and Jess, Zach. Yeah, I got involved with Variety probably about 10 years ago. Good friend of mine who was the chief executive officer. He calls himself the chief excitement officer of Variety, Charlie LaValle. And I've known Charlie for longer than that when he was in charge of our caring place at Highmark before he went to Variety. And Charlie's the kind of person that you really can't say no to. So when he reached out to me and said, "Hey, Joe, can we have a coffee?" I'm like, "Okay, what's up now, Charlie?" So we sat down and Charlie shared with me a little bit about, what was going on with the Variety. I was somewhat aware of it. I have a grandson that has some special needs. And Charlie was just saying, "Hey, at the time, Joe, I have this problem." He said, "We have this wonderful piece of equipment called this adaptive bike. And problem is we have too many of them. We need to find kids." And I was like amazed, and I said, "Charlie, I work a lot with organized labor, with the unions. Their kids have to be our kids, their families have to be our families." So that's how I first got started with Variety.
So Joe, so let's back up a little bit for those who aren't familiar with Variety Pittsburgh. So these are bikes, strollers, and communication devices for kids with disabilities, right? That's what
That-
we're
Yeah,
talking about.
that's correct. I mean, the initial program was My Bike. These adaptive bikes, each one adaptive specifically for the needs of the child, and of course, safety first. They have to be medically, cleared and whatnot, and then they're individually fitted. The bikes are actually then manufactured by our partner up in New York, and then they're presented to the children. And then that then kind of kicked off. We were listening to our parents, and we realized that they need some more mobility with My Stroller came along, and then My Voice. And My Voice basically is, an adaptive piece of equipment, an iPad, that has the program on it that allows these kids who have verbal problems to be able to express themselves, and it's a wonderful thing.
So Joe, if you would introduce Zach to everybody, tell us a little bit about how you first met Zach, and let's hear from Zach a little bit about why he got involved in Variety Pittsburgh and his thoughts on the mission and next steps.
Sure, sure. Well, Zach Marsh is just one of those people that I'm just blessed to know, like yourself, and now Al.
Thank you.
But yeah, Zach and I connected, and of course, when I got involved with Variety, and Zach is the guy. Zach is the go-to guy. Now, Charlie is the chief excitement officer, but Zach and the rest of the staff at Variety, these are guys the people that men and ladies that do tremendous work. So I first got to know Zach, and Zach would be really the person in charge of, setting up a lot of the events and coordinating a lot of things. And again, like I said, just become a very good friend. So Zach, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to you, buddy, and let you know, let them tell you about the Variety.
Yeah, no, thank you all so much for having me on this show today and featuring our organization. Awareness for us being a very small nonprofit is huge. So any type of awareness where people can learn about us and know that we exist is just massive, for our work, especially being so small. So thank you. I wanted to say, to put it simple, what Variety, the children's charity, does. Quite simply, we just strive to enable kids with special needs to live life to the fullest, helping them to simply be kids first and foremost and to thrive in their lives. And the three programs that were mentioned, My Bike, My Stroller, My Voice, those three programs, they started with My Bike, like Joe said, and each program was created after we listened to parents tell us what the unmet needs of their kids were. And My Bike was first because what is a childhood milestone if not riding a bike? So the thought that a lot of kids were missing out on that because they couldn't afford this expensive adaptive bike, which isn't typically covered by insurance or anything like that. So that's where My Bike bloomed, basically, and it kind of just went from there to My Stroller and My Voice, having just massive impact for so many kids and families. The other big thing, I said we're very small, but we're in a very large service area. So we are serving kids throughout 71 counties in Pennsylvania and West Virginia, which is far more than we should be doing for the small team we have, but we are mighty. And we truly believe that, all kids, regardless of their challenges or their disabilities, that all kids deserve to just be kids, especially with their mobility and communication, both which are, vital.
Zach, yeah, when we transitioned from the requested song "Smile" today to Variety Pittsburgh and hearing about your charity and your nonprofit work, I can only imagine the smiles that come to these children's faces when they first get to try the bike.
Yeah.
And I know that I've heard a story or two about a child first being able to tell his mother, "I love you," with the communication device, which has to not only be smiles on faces, but tears probably
Oh, yeah.
in
Yeah.
eyes as well. Can you share with everybody two things? One, maybe what the requirements are income wise for a family to be able to take advantage of this wonderful offerings and products from Variety Pittsburgh. And also just maybe one of your favorite memories, and Joe, for you too, one of your favorite memories.
Absolutely. The requirements, I love to go over because it's one thing that a lot of families don't realize that they are eligible for our programs. So the big thing for us, I said, we're in 71 counties, so just double checking that. In Pennsylvania, we're basically in every county outside of the Philadelphia region where there's another Variety chapter. And then we're in northern West Virginia. Outside of that, so we accept eligible children and youth between the ages of 3 and 21. So that's through their 21st birthday. So until they're 22, until they turn 22, you're still eligible for the program. Something that some families do miss. The income itself, so we have income guidelines. We have those because we want to really meet the needs of those most in need, first and foremost, but those income guidelines are really high. So especially, being in kind of the South Hills of Pittsburgh, I'm sure a lot of families may not think that they would qualify income-wise for our programs, but to give you an example, we, for a family of 4, you can make up to $132,000, $132,500 and still qualify for our program. So that's one big thing that we're really trying to let families know, that we go very high because we understand that even if both parents work in the household and make a decent income, there's so many expenses that come with having a child with special needs, medical appointments and equipment, therapies and things like that. So, we really factor that into those. Outside of that, it's really, we require a letter of medical justification. So that comes from typically a physical therapist, occupational therapist, or for my voice, the communication device, it would specifically be a speech language pathologist who would need to write this short letter. We're not asking for pages and pages of documentation. We're just asking for a sign letter by this healthcare professional, basically signing off that the equipment is medically appropriate for the child, because none of us are medical professionals, and that it would be safe for them to receive it. So then we kind of work with them on other specifications that we may need. But that's pretty much it. We have the application itself as well, which can be completed online. And even
Now,
saved.
Zach,
Yeah.
just to break in here, this is all available on your website?
It is, yeah, varietypittsburgh.org.
And
So
Pittsburgh
on
is
there-
all spelled out?
Yep, all spelled out in .org. And on there, you'll find where you can apply now, and that'll show you our online application, but also there'll be the paper application is available to download there as well. But I wanted to say with the online application, you can start it and save it and go back to it. So there is that option too, which I think is kind of nifty. With time as well.
So it's
And Zach,
wonderful.
it-
It's
that-
wonderful. And Joe, I want you to break in there, but not to forget for both you and Zach to share a memory or two of your favorite memory of it, since the times where you've been working with this nonprofit for a very long time, Joe, and Zach, you've come on a little more recently. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, Jess, there's so many memories. I mean, you cannot go to one of these presentations and not leave there truly, truly affected. I as I said, I helped get organized labor involved in a big way initially. And when we would have these events, and a lot of times we would stage them and we would have them at a big union hall. And, I'd invite union guys and whatnot to come and see this. And I'd warn them, I'm like, hey guys, bring a handkerchief. And they're like, get out of here. And I'm telling you, by the end of it, we're all bawling. We're all bawling. I mean, it's incredible just to see these kids, the joy, and then to hear what it means to the parents and grandparents when they get up and, get a chance to tell their story. Probably one of my most favorite, though, memories is getting our kids on their bikes to be in the Labor Day parade. Tremendous. I mean, it's unbelievable. These kids who never thought they would ride a bike. Now they're in a parade. I mean, a big parade. So that was probably one of the biggest kind of memories, and will always be for me.
It's my opportunity. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm gonna be throwing out the candy. I love to ride around this parking lot at this school. I just ride to my friend Susan's house.
You said to your mom, when you got your bike, you're gonna ride right to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I want to ride it to work every day.
That's beautiful. What about you, Zach?
Yeah, I have so many memories, I'd say, because we've since we started my bike, we're nearing our 5,000th piece of equipment. So that's a lot of equipment that we've done since 2012. So there's a lot. The biggest theme though for me, and I think it's touching for people to hear, is the sibling aspect of kids receiving the adaptive bikes. And what I've found many times is that you hear that the sibling of the child receiving their adaptive bike, they've waited to ride bikes because their brother or sister couldn't ride with them. So they were excited because now they could get their bike out and they could ride bikes finally because their brother or sister finally has one that fits their needs. And for me, having siblings and being close in that aspect, it always touches me in a really deep way.
Brakes off. You forgot where the brakes were, don't you?
Go, Cody, go! Yay, buddy! Ooh, 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 ooh.
Another one, though, I'll give you real quick what a mom said about what the bike means. For her son, she said, "This bike means everything. When his cousins come over, he can ride his bike with them, and he can ride it in the house with no issues because of the stationary stand provided." And I wanted to say that because we do provide a stationary stand too with each bike that allows, because the bikes give incredible therapy for our kids, which is critical for their health, critical. So they can set these up inside during the winter or bad weather, and they can just keep riding. They think it's fun, but they're getting incredible therapy at the same time. So
Yeah, the exercise and that cardiovascular exercise and all the goodness that comes from that health wise. I know, Al, you have been doing some rowing, I think, indoors, haven't you?
Yes, yes, January 9th, I started rowing. I, I had a kidney transplant, was walking, so I'm at high risk to get sick. So with my immune system getting destroyed, I'm up to 40 minutes feeling strong, and it's a great
Awesome.
workout. So I
Yeah.
appreciate what you guys are doing. And Joe, I remember many a Labor Day parade. One of the biggest Labor Days in the country parades is in Pittsburgh. So I have fond memories of that.
Right.
For you to have kids that are handicapped to be able to do that, my hat goes off to both of you. And thanks for sharing both of your stories. Loved it, Zach, especially
Hey,
the sibling part.
Hey Al, and I'm sure Al, you and I talk a lot about just getting the important information out on this show to highlight some people doing really good things for the community during the Bible Quest show. And I think that people out there might be hearing about Variety Pittsburgh for the first time and wondering if there are various ways to support Variety Pittsburgh, either with volunteerism or with charitable donations. And I don't know if Zach or Joe, you want to just say a word about how people who are new to learning about Variety Pittsburgh can support.
yeah, well, right now our most critical need is actually for funding, specifically for adaptive bikes and adaptive strollers. We've pretty much ran out, and the good kind of in that is that we ran out because our presentations have been at remarkable highs, especially throughout the pandemic. We've had historic presentation numbers over the past 2 years. So now we're really in need of funds. Anything, truly any type of donation would help with that. But the actual cost to sponsor one bike is $1,800, and one stroller being $1,500. Now that seems a little bit high, I'm sure, to some, but any amount towards that can make a difference for sure.
Okay, and can you donate via your website?
Yeah, and we just actually got an easier to donate system, so hopefully it's quick and
Tell us
easy.
about it then. With no further ado, tell us, how do we donate?
Yeah, no, it's again varietypittsburgh.org, all spelled out, /donate. Or you
That's
can just go to
simple.
the or on the website, the top right corner has a donate button that you can also click. And from there, it's pretty easy now. So hopefully,
There's a
everybody-
donate button on your homepage. That's good on the
Yeah.
website. And so, last thing before we let you both run, I mean, what are your best hopes for Variety Pittsburgh over the next couple of years? Obviously, at first, Joe, you were saying we had too few kids and too many products to give away. Now during the pandemic, I'm not surprised everybody likes to ride bikes and get outside. It's safe even during a pandemic. And now you need more funds to get more bikes and more strollers and communication devices out to people. But beyond that, beyond just the simple fundraising, which is always needed, what are your best hopes for the next couple of years for the charity, Zach?
I think, you know, we have incredible momentum right now. So really it's just keeping that momentum to kind of move it forward. You know, we've built these programs over many years, and I think we're getting to a point where they are becoming models more than programs. And we kind of figured out how to do this and do it well. And really, you know, any support, and I mean support, you know, financially, if that is feasible for somebody, or the other way to support is just to share our information to hopefully find more kids. You know, but that would be my hope, you know.
So to raise awareness, to spread the word about Variety Pittsburgh, and Joe, I would say this, I know that I have sung a lot of charitable fundraise and friend raise events, and we'll be looking to do some of those in the future. We can also do home concerts and really have somebody host something in their backyard and raise a little bit of awareness for Variety Pittsburgh, maybe a little bit of funds after we do some jazz and blues and American music home concerts for that. You know, a lot of times people who host will say, thank you everybody for coming. There will be maybe 30 to 50 people at one, and then somebody else says, I'll host the next one, and invite some other people to learn about how they can spread the word and support. So I also offer that out there. Joe, final thoughts on Variety Pittsburgh today?
Variety Pittsburgh is truly a life-changing event. I mean, just to see again, once again, the joy on children's faces, the stories from parents and siblings, and also to see the incredible generosity of Pittsburgh. You know, corporate, you know, sponsors, organized labor, as I mentioned, you know, individual, you know, foundations and whatnot. You know, Pittsburgh is truly a very, very philanthropic town. And, you know, my hope is just to, again, to keep on spreading the awareness, you know, raising more and more friends and more funds.
Great. Well, thank you for that. And we'd like to thank you both for being with us today. And the next song that we're going to feature that was requested is What a Wonderful World. And Mark Strickland and I do a little funky version of that particular song. And Zach and Joe, you both are in so many ways making our region a more wonderful region. And so I want to thank you. And Al, I want to hand it over to you to say a couple of words before we go to the song.
Well, thank you, Jess. I appreciate it. I appreciate meeting you, Joe, and I appreciate your organized labor background, since I have 36 years of that. And Zach, I appreciate your positivity and how you've perfected a system to make it easy for people to help the handicapped kids and their families. And with the income threshold, for all of you out there that need help, please contact them, varietypittsburgh.org. I think I caught on to it, and I will help you as much as I can. And this is just a little step for us to help you and get the word out. And you can use and share this great show any way that you want. You have our permission.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, Jess and Zach.
Guys, we'll talk soon and see each other soon. I know. And what do you think we go to that song and then just come back and say a couple of final words, Al?
Okay, and you guys are welcome, and we'll see you. Take care, and to your continued success.
All right. Here's What a Wonderful World.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom now for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world, yes. I see skies of blue, and clouds of white, bright blessed day now, dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world, yes. The colors of the rainbow, pretty in the sky, Also on the faces of people passing by, I see friends shaking hands. How do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we will ever know. Well, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands. How do you do? They're really saying, I so love you. Babies cry, we watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we will ever know. We think to ourselves, what a wonderful world, yeah. Think to myself, what a wonderful world, yeah. Hey, hey, yeah.
Jessica Lee, again, that was a great evening that we had. The singing and the musical performance by you and Mark was just amazing. And I love this song from when I first heard it as a young lad by Louis Armstrong. And I've heard your version over the years, and it just touches my heart, Jess. So thank you very much. And I hope all of you appreciated that. And let me let Jess close this great by request show out.
I want to first thank you, Al, for co-hosting and producing the show. I want to thank Dave Cable at BPTV and everybody who makes this show possible. And I want to thank everybody who sends in the song requests. And we'll continue to honor them. And we'll continue to feature some people doing good things in the region as well on these shows, Al. So thanks to everybody. The second thing I just want to mention to everybody, if you may have a child with disabilities, again, from 3 years old all the way up to 22, till you hit 22 years old.
Yes.
The communication devices, the bikes, the electronic bikes and the strollers, you can apply for all three of them. You don't need to apply for just one if you have a child who's eligible. So Variety Pittsburgh is just a beautiful charity doing God's work, and I'm glad that we were able to feature them today. It is a more wonderful world for their work, for sure. And Al, I just want to say that I'm looking forward already to our next show, and I want to say you feature so many people doing good things that I think it gives people a lot of hope. So
Yes.
Here's to some more buy requests featuring people doing good things for the community.
And you're welcome, Jess. And thank you very much, everybody. And stay tuned for our next buy request show.